Welcome back to the reading of the Pack of Pompeii. In the first video we read chapters 1, 2 and 3. Summary of chapter 1. The story is narrated by Livia, one of the 3 dogs who work the gentle mountain. The dogs work with their shepherd on the mountainside near Pompeii. Livia is joined by Claudia and Alba as they try to tend to the goats, who are said to be acting strangely. In the absence of their 2-leg, the hungry dogs trot towards the town in search of food, noting that the rabbits have fled and the horses also appear to be sensing something unusual in the air. In chapter 2, the 3 dogs head towards the town, but as they arrive, there is a rumbling under the ground. The trembling is felt by the people of the town too, and urns and stone carvings tumble and shatter on the floor. The pack smell something is wrong in the air, and Livia, as a leader, barks that they must leave. Chapter 3 summary. The pack initially begin to head out of the town, but Livia has a change of heart, leading them back towards the city in search of the 2-leg who feeds them, a young girl from their shepherd's family. Statues and roof tiles continue to fall to the ground. People are dashing around the streets in panic. They find the girl, who gives them some meat, then ushers them away, urging them to safety. Livia saves Alba from a collapsing stone wall that would have crushed her. Then the dog passes the home of Delta, a house pet whom they have heard stories about. So now we're going to go into chapter 4. I'm relieved when we all leave the town behind and return to our hillside, but even here, something is not right. The air is thick, the ground moves beneath our paws, but at least I can think clearly. These goats are almost as stupid as the 2-legs, Alba chunters as we count the herd. Time is running out. But what is waiting for us? I do not know. Small rocks shift and tumble past us. Elsewhere, small waves of dirt and dust pour down the steeper slopes. When I glance back towards the city, I fear for the 2-legs. Thankfully, none of our shepherd's goats are missing. I wonder if the wolves have already left to find steady ground. I press the humming earth with my paw, then take a long sniff. There's a strange smell. Not a nice one. Like when the goats have eaten too many brown thistles. Alba scratches the ground too, her paw drawing wobbly lines as the earth shifts underneath her. I don't like this. The ground is too warm on my feet. Then, something strange happens, even stranger than the day so far. Large, grey-white flakes begin to fall from the heavens, gentle and serene against the afternoon sky. We don't notice them until one lands right on the end of Claudia's nose. "Snow!" barks Alba. "No," I say, sniffing at the dry flakes now dappling her fur. There is something wrong with them. They aren't melting. This isn't snow. Before we can investigate further, an unexpected breeze ruffles my fur. When I turn, I find myself nose to beak with Cato, the old eagle. "What are you still doing here?" the bird asks. "Don't you know that the rabbits and foxes left before sunrise?" "What's happening?" I asked. "Why is the ground shaking and so warm?" I flick my tail upwards. "What is this strange snow?" He shrugs his wings and pecks at the rocks by his long talons. This is not the first time that the ground has shaken. I was barely out of my egg, but I remember the mountain behaving like this almost 20 summers ago. "The mountain?" Cato nods. "It shook so hard that many 2-legs had to rebuild their stone nests." Alba snorts. "Their nests have already broken again. It will be a cold winter for them." "Or no winter," Cato says. He points with his beak up towards the very top of the gentle mountain, and we look up. What we see makes Alba gasp, and Claudia has to sit down on the warm ground. A thick column of grey and black rises from the top of the mountain, blocking out part of the sky. It reaches up for miles, and the dark clouds spread across the city. Still more white flakes pour down like rain, making it hard to see. Cato shakes his head sadly. I am leaving, and if you wish to survive the day, you should do the same. A low rumble, like earlier thunder, accompanies my racing thoughts. The ground below us lurches again, and we all stare up at our beloved mountain, disbelieving. We'll follow you, Cato, says Alba panting. You must help us find another mountain, a place where the goats can graze and we can live. I stare back down at the crumbling town below. More of it falls with each tremor, sending lines of screaming two-legs rushing towards the waves or onto the tracks that lead away from danger. They stumble and fall each time the ground shakes, tipping over broken carts and dodging walls that crumble then collapse into dusty heaps. The town is falling into ruin, and with it, my one chance of a life with a full belly and a warm bed. When a new tremor sends Cato flapping into the air, I growl at my friends. Go! Follow Cato! I leap out of the path of a tumbling rock and watch as more skitter down the mountainside. The herd is panicking. Take the goats somewhere safe. Alba swishes her tail and bares her teeth. I'll make these goats run faster than hares. I hope you can keep up, Claudia. Ignoring Alba's challenge, Claudia offers me one of her wet-eyed looks. I'll run close to you, Livia. She shakes her coat to dislodge some of the false snow. I growl. She steps back and lowers her head. I don't like scaring her, but she mustn't try to follow me. Do as Alba says. She will lead the goats today. Why? Worry flattens Claudia's ears. When I glance towards Alba, I see her proudly licking her coat. She has been waiting for a chance to lead, and I have made my decision. I must go back and find the shepherd, I say. In the distance the town crumbles, and the mingled sounds of screaming and falling stone invade my mind. My throat feels dry when I think about the small girl that I have left behind, as though I have made a mistake. It doesn't have to be you, Livia, Claudia snaps. They don't care about us, Alba agrees. Or the goats. He is our master, I say, not wanting approval. You'll die, Alba warns me. I look to both of them, my pack, my family, and say, I'll find you. Chapter 5. Grey flakes fall from the clouds, thick and fast now, as though the sky itself is breaking into pieces and tumbling down to the ground. My frantic paws barely skim the unploughed earth as I race towards the town, and I'm just yards from a vegetable patch when, boom! The mountain roars. The sound fills my insides as though it's rolling through every dog, tree, rock and two-leg. A heavy, impossible sound that I feel in my bones. The mountain's fury tears great claw marks across the earth and bundles me off my feet, pulling down walls and toppling olive trees. I pant desperately through the dust and dart away just in time to avoid a wooden roof as it slides downwards and crumbles on impact with the ground. I feel my legs trembling, and I wonder if Claudia was right. Maybe I should be saving myself. Steeling myself, I glance back at the fields that were once my home, and the sight of what dominates the sky roots me to the spot. The gentle mountain is no longer a mountain. Its top has gone, and in its place there's a huge cloud of flying rock and darkness reaching up and claiming the sun, creating instant nightfall. Dark descends upon the town of Pompeii. It takes an age for my eyes to finally get used to the sudden blackness. I can hear the two-legs screaming behind the walls of the city, though I can barely see it through the grey snow that falls across my face and makes me splutter. It would be easier to turn on my hind legs and sprint for safety. I could catch Alba and Claudia, and we could be free and clear of the danger before darkness consumes this place. But that is not my path. Today, without really understanding why, I've decided to treat the two legs as family too. When I see orange flickers appearing in the dark city, I clamber across toppled buildings and creep inside the town's walls towards them. A symphony of terrified shrieks and painful cries hustle me through the narrow streets, and it is impossible to know where to look first. There are so many two legs, and everywhere I look, they are in desperate need of help. During my brief spell up on the hills, the situation in town has become much more serious. I cower beside what was once a small home, panting to catch my breath. It is now just a pile of rocks and splintered wood. The roof has vanished too. Its wooden beams are split in two, and the tiles are snapped and crushed. I think that some two legs might be trapped beneath what remains. I can hear muffled coughing and panicked voices, neighbours trying to reach them, but the rocks are too heavy, and the pile is too high. The grey flakes fall thick and fast, settling on the ground, and everything above it like a blanket, and I shake myself to remove the weight of it. Many two legs are carrying burning sticks for light as they run through the spaces between debris, but all of them seem blinded by panic and tears. I bark at them to push them towards the water for safety, but they cannot hear me, or choose not to. So I push on through the chaos and round the next bend to find the home of the shepherd and the young two-leg, their pack. The building lies in ruins. Walls have buckled, shaken loose from their foundations. The door lies flat upon the grey, dusted ground. The falling dry snow gives the wreckage the old impression of having been there a very long time already. Roof timbers are piled high, and it is impossible to see what is underneath. I growl at myself, angry and sickened that it might arrive too late. The young two-leg was so small, just a pup. Have they escaped? I stare at the nearby crowd, but see no familiar faces. Then, from inside, I hear sobbing. Peering desperately through the darkness and between running legs, I see that there is a gap in the ruined wall where the door used to be, and it's big enough for me to squeeze through. Stumbling with every tremor of the ground, I wriggle among the debris and follow the pitiful sound. In a back room, recoiling from the mountain's wrath behind a broken wooden board, is a young two-leg. She is alone, and the dirt staining her face is broken by wet tear tracks. When she sees me, she yelps. I think she is pleased that I am here. Her home is smashed to pieces, and there is no sign of the shepherd or the rest of her pack. Come, I bark, and more floating flakes catch in my throat. We can't stay here. As gently as I lift newborn goats when the wolves attack, I put my teeth around the girl's wrist and pull her from the shelter. She resists at first, but then seems to understand and lets me lead her. Hardly bigger than me, she squeezes out into the street, where a new danger awaits us. The mountain cloud is dropping hot rocks like a storm of smoking hailstones. Pieces of the tremendous mountain, stones which have watched over me since I was a pup, race towards the ground, big and small. One rolls towards my feet, and I can see the hot air rising from it in the two legs' torchlight. Raised fur across my shoulders warns me that time is against us. The gentle mountain has betrayed us all. Okay, we'll continue the final chapters in the next reading, but it's getting exciting with the volcano now beginning to erupt. Will they survive? We shall find out.